So I'm currently here with Jake Sanson. Good evening, Jake.
Good evening.
I am just going to ask you a couple of questions about motorsport and your current involvement within the motorsport industry. I'd like to kick it off with, what is your current involvement within motorsport?
Well, currently I'm involved as a social media journalist, a TV presenter, and a motorsport commentator, as well as a radio producer, amongst many, many other things as well.
So what influenced to get into that kind of job area and to spread across multiple areas?
Well, I started wanting to be a racing driver when I was 6 years old, and it was very quick to notice that my mum and dad were never going to give me the support to do that. My mum didn't want me to get hurt, and dad didn't want to spend money. And the only person other than the Formula One drivers that was having as much fun as them seemed to be Murray Walker. And I kind of thought that's the job I want to do as well. So I've wanted to do it ever since then.
And so is this a full-time job for you? And is this your main career? And what do you do from there?
It is my full-time job to a certain extent. I do put most of my effort into it. I have had to become a supply teacher on the side just to keep the money rolling. And I've been doing that for about 2 months now, and I'm getting really into that. But yeah, I'm hoping this is going to be my full-time career.
Lovely. I've heard that you currently have a company called Downforce Radio. How's that formed, and what does it cover, in a sense, within motorsport?
Well, I started Downforce originally as a podcast, and then it became a radio station after about 2 years. The idea was to promote British motor racing at all levels, including club and domestic level of racing. And it was something that I felt nobody was really putting that level of promotion into grassroots motorsport. And I felt that if nobody else was going to do it and I wanted to see it happen, then I kind of had to roll my sleeves up and do it myself. So I started it as a monthly podcast whenever I had the time and the opportunity. I had very little equipment to be able to do it, but I kind of kept it running as much as I could. And then I met some like-minded journalists who thought I had a good idea and decided to push me a little bit further to make it into something bigger. And so we became a radio station, and we started to put out live programs and live race coverage. And 2 years later, we're now over 300,000 listeners on a worldwide basis, and it's kind of spiraling out of control. We have a lot of very important people listening to us and asking us to do jobs for them, and working in the motor racing sector, and we've become a very important media outlet to the world of British motorsport in the space of 2 years. It's kind of overtaken my expectations, and I think the expectations of a lot of other people.
So with that, and like you said, that in the past 2 years, so do you see this within the next 5 years? Do you see this becoming more European and global as well as just in the UK?
It's something I've considered. You know, I don't necessarily think there's just a market for it in Britain. I wouldn't mind seeing it go further afield as a concept, as an idea, and I would certainly like to help spearhead that. I'd like to see over the next 3 or 4 years the Downforce Radio brand establish itself well in the UK before we ever considered going further afield. But we just kind of have to see how things go. You know, we have a sort of a rough estimate that 3-4 years from now we'll really be hitting our stride, and people in motor racing will really be giving us the time of day on a regular basis. So hopefully we can continue that and just gradually build up our brand as we go.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, you like to have it across all different levels. So, such as like a club level. Obviously, there's a wide market within club level, and like you said, there is people out there that do not necessarily get the coverage they deserve, because not everything is focused on, like, the likes of the BBC and Sky, and there's some serious talent out there, and I think Downforce actually does help promote and grab the eyes of the likes of new drivers coming through, and it's just a nice, for people like myself, to be able to listen to events that are actually happening, right? If you can't get there, rather than everything being focused around Formula One. I think you've really caught the right area there for club level as well. And
well, yeah, I think that's 50% of our market, is giving fans who love motor racing something new and exciting to listen to. I think the other half of our audience is racers or wannabe racers who want to find out about different forms of motor racing to get into. And we want to let people know that there isn't just Formula One, there isn't just touring cars, there's hundreds of thousands of different avenues of motor racing for people to get into, no matter what their budget is.
Yeah, it is good. It's brilliant to be able to tune into, and especially having the live coverage as well. That's definitely a brilliant factor.
People really like that about it, because it's immediate. They hear it, so if it sounds good, then clearly they'll want to go and see just how good it is. So we get a lot of good feedback from it.
Brilliant. All right. Thank you very much for your time tonight, Jake, and talk to you soon.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.